Mastermind?
It's on.
Timer, start, something 7. What's going on, Masterminds, man? We're back with another edition of our Pool Table Talk. This is one of our intro videos, and I'm going to be introducing who I am. Marquis Robbins, owner and finishing touch interior carpentry based in Atlanta, Georgia. Self-proclaimed GOAT, Pinterest creator. So yeah, man. Y'all ain't know where to start for real. Look, so I guess
from high school, bro.
High school? Alright, so originally, man, I was born in South Florida, down in Broward, Plantation to be exact, but I grew up down in Miramar. Grew up in Miramar, Florida. It's right on the county line of Broward and Dade. My mom's side from Broward, my dad's side from Dade, so I got the best of both.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, I got the best of both growing up, man. Beach kid, always at the beach. City living, man. City buses, like town book, all of that, bro. So, man, high school, I went to graduated from St. Lucie West Centennial High School in Port St. Lucie. I moved there with my dad and my stepmom in the 10th grade. Was an athlete, heavy in football, man.
You been playing football?
What?
How much did you play, bro?
I played running back and corner.
Never came off the field.
What? All four down.
I think I was on the bench all the time.
I've been playing football since I was like 6, but I played
Pee-wees.
Yeah, I played Pee-wees, 75, 90 pound, 110, 135, unlimited, bro. All the way up.
Flag.
Look, nah, I ain't playing.
Everything with contact. Everything.
I play flag.
I play flag for windows. Oh no, we did too, bro. We play flag football. We got contact going on.
Ain't nothing get wrong with flag.
With the flag football. You finally pull that flag.
One of my partners, man, he actually got a team, his own team flag football. You know, we play with older and stuff like that, but of course they play flag, you know.
You get finessed on that flag field.
I
was professional on that flag field. I gave you flags.
Nah, man, shoot, I stopped playing football like 11th grade. Just 'cause I didn't, like, when we moved to Port St. Lucie, I just didn't like the school, bro. It was like, they made, and I think it was my mindset, like, they made football so structured, and I was used to, like, down there was just free, bro. Like, we had fun and practice, and the games I wanted, I just lost the love for it. And then I got caught up in females and all that, my mind was everywhere. So, fast forward, leaving high school, knew I wasn't really gonna be fully successful in college, because I was like, man, if I go to college, bro, like, ain't nobody telling me to get up to go to class. I'm gonna be partying, bro. I'm gonna be like, look, I'm just sleeping in. You telling me to go to class, but I'm not going to class. So I went to the Navy, did 4 years in the Navy, was stationed up in Norfolk, Virginia, for like 3.5 years, where I met Dre, boot camp, C school. I met Frank through here, then met Tay, then met Ben. So, like, it was kind of like, God ordains things how it's meant to be, because I could have never projected this, way back when I was 18, 19, So, man, I'm in the carpentry field now, so kind of back in that, like, both of my granddads, rest in peace to both of them. They both was in construction young, so my first job was with my granddad at 14 on a deck job. Like, we was building a deck and doing some backsplash in the kitchen. And that was like my first introduction to like using your hand, like the table saws and all that stuff. And I worked with my dad a lot in the yard and doing house projects.
So that was your influence then, like coming from them. That's great. It's usually kind of where most people that do trade would come from.
And it's like in my blood, because I just learned actually at my granddad's funeral that my grandma's dad had a terrazzo flooring company. He used to lay terrazzo floors all throughout Miami, all around the country. I just learned that, so it's really like I feel like it's in my DNA.
It's a legacy.
Exactly, bro. Like, he was in real estate and all. They had restaurants and all, bro. So it's crazy that like it kind of trickled down to me, and I feel like I'm carrying the torch now. Like I'm finna run with it.
Pass to Junior.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. So yeah, man, went into the military. I was a welder in the military, fabricator. I did a lot of metal work, like plumbing. So yeah, man, heavy influence in why I'm doing what I'm doing now for real. And leaving the military, it's crazy. My mindset of getting out of the military, I wanted to like flip and like do wholesale. Wholesaling was my main goal. I was like, I'm gonna be a wholesaler, like, and then got out and realized you need money to be a wholesaler. You can't just get out. It was like, the way to make money in real estate without money up front. I was like, no, bro, you need money to be a wholesaler.
It's that reality.
Like, you can't just get out here and be like, I'm gonna sell this deed and flip it over to you. Like, no, it don't work like that.
They do make it sound like
money for the earnest money, stuff like that.
They made it sound real good, bro. So, but I was like diving deep into that education. Like I was reading up on it, everything real estate, studying it. So I knew I wanted to be in the real estate field in some kind of way. And then, I ended up going to school for construction management. So I was like, all right, if I'm not gonna wholesale, then I'm gonna learn at least something in the industry that's gonna be able to carry me, so I can at least like manage over projects where I could run a construction business. So I get the insights and details like that's behind the scene that'll help you like run a business. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to trade school, got my degree, and then while doing that, me and my wife was actually able to use like my veteran benefits to buy a property in Macon, and that was like my first introduction into investing and like actually getting in the investment space. So we bought this single family in Macon, Georgia, 7 bedrooms, 3 baths. It's like
47 bedrooms.
So walk us through that, bro. So how did you find the investment property?
So bro, we was looking at properties for a while. And Dominique, she was actually deployed when we first started looking at it. So like I was looking at properties. We had found a realtor, and I told her like what we was looking to do. Like we got this VA. Like we want to find a property that we could live on one side and rent it out. We was looking for a quad initially. And what's crazy, like the first property we actually had on contract was a quad. It was 4 units. Each unit was like a 3-1. I think it was 4 3-1s. But the property needed like a full electrical overhaul after the home inspection, and the people who were selling it wasn't willing to do they wasn't willing to upgrade the electric. They were like, it's sold as is, so we backed out of that deal. And then we had found we probably looked at maybe like 9 or 10 properties, and we found another property we got on contract. It was a triplex, but it was being used as like a recovery home for like women, women and stuff. So it needed a lot of work, and like it was the same situation. Like the work that it needed, and we told them what we wanted to, like, if y'all fix this stuff, we get it. They weren't willing to do nothing. So it's like, all right, back out of that, and then ended up finding this property they were selling as a single family. It was set up for a duplex, but it wasn't like all the way there. Like it was set up for the kitchen. They had the cabinets. But didn't have no oven, no microwave, no stove. The downstairs, they had pretty much did like 70% of the renovations downstairs, new kitchen, like floors, paint, all that. So we had to come in like finish our downstairs and then finish our upstairs to actually build a rentable unit. So once we found that property, we did the offer. We was like, shoot, the house was 7 bedrooms, 3 baths. It was like 4,300 square feet, and they only wanted like 140. So we negotiated down to like 132. We ended up getting that property at 132.
Wow,
and then, bro, we did all the numbers. It was like we can afford to pay this side for this. Like even if one side was only rented out, like we'd be able to afford. Like we did our numbers, and we'd be able to afford it even if one side was only rented out at one time. So we had, as soon as we got it renovated, we that first unit went quick. Like we had a whole bunch of offers in, people trying to get in there. And our first tenant ended up being there for like 3-4 years. She was dope, paid early, never had no issues.
Wow, a godsend.
Look, for real, bro, for real. And then got the other unit rented out for about a year. We really sat on our profit because we didn't renovate the upstairs. Like it was vacant for a while. Just because when we jumped into it, we didn't really have the money to like renovate both. Like it was way more than. It's like, bro, what? In my mind, I was like, get this crib, but 4,300 square feet is a lot, bro. We talking about renovating, and you start going through spaces, and it's like, the house was built in 1905, so it had so much work. It still got work in that now. Like, there's so much work in that house, bro. So like, we got it to where it was livable, and then, got it rented out, and now it's still profitable for us. We, still got the house today. That was our first jump into investing. And yeah, man, I'm hoping pass my kids that house, you know. That house pay for some assets now, like the income from that. Got a life insurance policy and that pays for my policy. I don't even have to touch my own money, so if something happens to me, like my kids is good, you know? So it's like being able to set stuff up like that where it don't hit your pockets, but you looking out for the next generation.
Exactly.
Like forward thinking, bro.
Yeah.
So,
what really made you want to go into like just the cabinet making? Like not cabinet making, because I know you do cabinet making and accent walls, but what made you decide like
that's the field I want to be.
Exactly, because if I'm mistaken, you said you was a handyman kind of like at first, and then you kind of separated and went to like more of the cabinet making and then the accent wall. So what was that transition like?
So for me, when I first started out, I was I had got the handyman experience while I was in school. I was working at this apartment complex as a maintenance man. So I was doing it was like 90 units, and I was the only maintenance man, bro. So I was like figuring it out there. And then that duplex we had, I was doing all the work in there myself.
They say some money on shit.
Yeah, exactly. So then like we was in Robbins, and then when my wife got out of the military, we moved to Atlanta. I got a job with California Closets. Cali Closets showed me like the details of the interior trim space. Like I didn't even know that closets was a thing in the interior carpentry space. Like that all they do is closets and built-ins, and then I start seeing like how much money people was paying for these closets, bro. Like people doing $200,000 closets, bro. Yeah. $50,000 closet, $80,000 closet, marble slabs in here, bro. Like in the closets, bro. Like 10-inch crown, lights throughout every shelf, glass door, like look like retail rooms, bro. Like I was like, bro, people paying for it, like islands in the closet, bro. Like I was like, okay, so it's different out here. Like that showed me like when I got to Atlanta, I saw like how people was really living different. Cause you got this big crib and you put in $40,000 in your closet, like and you already got nice stuff.
Just the closet.
Just the closet. Like this ain't even your house, bro. So I was like, okay. So and then I'm seeing that I'm in these spaces and I'm the one interacting with the clients. Like I'm coming out, like, how you doing? Like, I'm here to do that, and we chopping up, and I'm like, okay, like I got some personable skills with these people. I think I could kind of do this. So like I start picking up little projects here and there on the side, just like paint project. I was changing out toilets, doing like ceiling fans and light fixtures.
And you was doing that while you had your main job.
Yeah, I was doing them on the weekend, like scheduling Saturday, Sunday, like just getting some extra funds. And then I realized I was like, shoot, like I'm making, $200-300 on one day, like $400 on the weekend. I'm like, oh, but like if I could book out my whole week, $200-300 a day, like I probably could make like $1,000-1,200 in a week. I'm like, shoot, for me at that point, I was like, that's straight. Like $4,000 a month, $5,000, like I'm really good. So I was like, okay. So then I ended up just like I had got to the point. That's when I was still in the Forex, so I had found a little groove in Forex too. Where I was making profits. So I was like, all right, but if I could get this Forex money plus the money I'm doing in a week with the handyman work, I could quit that job. So I was like, I had probably like 3 months worth of save, and I put my 2-week notice, and I'm gonna go all the way in. I'm just trying to be a handyman, and I launched a business. It was called Marquis Fix It, right? Like that was my first. That was my first launch into business, but I ain't had no LLC, no nothing. I just came up with a business name, and I was just taking projects. Look, I was just bought some shirts, had them stitched up. Got to do make a logo. Look, I had to make a logo. I got some shirts stitched up. And I got on a couple apps, and I was just doing little house projects. Bro, I was doing odds and end jobs, but changing out caulk and tubs and like running little trim. And he like, bro, it was just done work, but I needed them at like $20 here, $50, $75, $125. Add up. So then I kind of start offering trim, like baseboards, crown molding, like wall trimming, and I realized like I kind of saw what was the money making within the handyman space that I like doing. So I was like, okay, I can install some cabinets, and shoot, I can make what I make in a week off this cabinet job in that day. So I was like, all right, I stopped offering certain services. I was like, I ain't gonna offer that no more. I ain't doing toilets no more. I ain't doing light fixtures, no electrical. Like I like trim work. I like cabinets. I'm gonna do closets. And then, I narrowed down my services, and then I launched Finishing Touch, which was when I fully narrowed everything down. And I was like, you know, I'm not gonna be offering these services no more. This is all I'm gonna be offering. And then they kind of took to where people contacted me because they know that's what I specialize in. It's like, all right, you specialize in accent walls, you specialize in mud rooms and built-ins and closets. So they was contacting me just for that stuff, you know. So it, you know, and it's only been picking up, man. It's only been getting better.
So how important was it for you to find your niche? Like, so what was your sales like before you went into that niche, and then afterwards?
Shoot, when I was doing handyman work, man, I probably might make $300-400 in a week, you know, something like that. A good week, maybe like 800, whatever. Now it's like, for accent walls, like my base price for the accent wall is $1,000, and if you want any extra detail, it's $1,200 and up. You know, if you're doing like a stairway wall, that's like $2,500. But these projects, like I could do an accent wall in a day, so that's $1,000 a day. If I could do a stairway wall, that might take me 2 days and change. So it might make $2,000 in 2 days. You know, like, so I was realizing like the numbers was different, and then the built-ins. Like I got set prices on cabinets. One cabinet, if I got to build it, $125 a box. If it's, you know, the trim go $4 a linear foot. So I start getting my pricing together, and then it's like my numbers start getting different. So like instead of 800, I could do, you know, a good week could be 4,000 a week, or 5,000 a week, just off me narrowing down what I'm offering. You know,
and that's crazy. Most people tend to think like the more services you add, like the more money. And you just find that one thing that people are really willing to pay for. You know,
so I know after you shift that from the handyman, you used to specialize in just cabinets. So what goes to the suite? Because now you specialize in accent wall. So what goes to the shift?
Man, I stumbled on the accent walls, bro. Like somebody hit me up randomly. I think I was doing like shiplap and stuff at first. Like shiplap was my first introduction to it. And then the lady sent me a design. She was like, hey, can you do this on the wall? And I was like, yeah. And I did it, and I was charging like $300 for accent wall, then $350, $400. And then like more and more people start asking for them. And I'm like, okay, like maybe these are things like different designs, and I was like, all right, these pretty cool. And I started to like doing it because it was like my artistic side got to come out. You know, like I got to draw this design. Some people was like, man, just come up with something, you know. So I find designs and draw something up, and then come in and do it. And it was like, dang, but like feeling like Picasso. Like,
your walls look really great, bro.
They really do. I was feeling like, dang, but like, okay, how these designs coming out, like I started to just, you know, fall in love with doing design and seeing it throughout. And then like, I saw how that space was picking up, and it's still picking up now, you know, like 5 years ago, you ain't see no like diagonal design walls and people out, like you ain't see none of that stuff.
Just shiplap, like you said, 'cause that phase was coming through. Everybody just want to shiplap on the wall.
It was shiplap, and then like reclaimed wall boards, or like the beadboard walls. Like there's a lot of that stuff now. People, and I think COVID had a lot to do with it, with like people working from home. Like they want their house to feel custom and personal. So now they're willing to invest in more personalized stuff for their house.
It's different too.
So like they're like, man, like, you know, I want this design with this kind of thing in it, you know, and it gave me a lane that like now I can expand on accent walls, you know, because it's a new industry still, you know, and that just opened doors for me now to like now I got the products I sell through my business, my hardware, handles, knobs, and everything, and then I just reached like creator status on Pinterest. So I do majority of my advertising and business posting I do on Pinterest. Like I do a lot of ads on IG, Facebook, kinda, but Pinterest is my bread and butter now, and you know, course coming soon. Like, stay tuned. Wait, how to be a earner on Pinterest course coming soon.
The last one you did, I think you posted on Facebook. I mean on Instagram. It was just like one cut that really stood out to me, but I just keep like that. It was like a little twist. Perfect wood. It just stood out, bro. Yeah, it was on IG. It just stood out.
To my this.
I was like, man.
Hey, you trying to look at that IG touch _IC? So the wall cautious. It's like I stumbled, and my brother asked me the same thing. Like, why you got on the accent? I'm like, man, they stumbled on me. Like, and then I got into it, and it was like, man, I would have never saw myself doing accent. I ain't even know it was a thing 3 years ago, and now it's like 80% of my business, majority of it is doing accent walls.
You killing it. So how important was it to already be in the space to find your niche? Like, cause you got people that's like waiting on the sidelines trying to figure out what they want to do before they jump into it.
Yeah. So I think for me, like I've always been good with my hands and like building stuff, and like I feel like the military kind of refined that. So whatever you do, it's like, man, don't try to like use what you're already good at, to create your side hustle, additional income, whatever it is. Like if you like numbers and you interested in numbers, like take a course to be an accountant. That might be a heavy example, but it's simple things that you can learn that you already good at. In 1% Conference, they call it your superpower. Like what comes easy to you that's hard for others, and that's your superpower.
Yeah.
And if you can figure that out, and you can like build on that, exactly, like, you can use that to your advantage to create a life for yourself. Because now, like, my business is expanding every day, it's growing. If you're trying to get on the calendar, you gotta wait till June. It's still people trying to get in, quotes still coming in every day, and I'm still looking for ways to expand and grow a team and just be better.
So if there's one thing you could have, you would have done different doing the whole transition, doing your travel, what would it be?
It would be getting my numbers and accounting together first, like getting like SOPs later. Like I wish I did, because how I jumped into Marquis Fix, I ain't established nothing. It was like, I'm gonna just jump into this and do it, and this is my business name, and I'm gonna just book it. So I kind of was all over the place with all of my stuff, and I got in the finishing touch, and I did the LLC, but I wasn't as structured as I should have been as far as like my systems, how I do all my stuff, how I balance my books. And I feel like it really took me into this year to even get into that space to where like got an accountant now, and I got my structure on all my scheduling and my invoicing, and like all of that stuff is kind of funneled now. And I wish I would have had that set up at first. So if I was jumping into a new, like what I learned now, if I was starting a new business now, but I would outline everything before I even got an LLC. Like I would outline the whole, what the business is for, what we trying to serve, what we trying to do, how we gonna do our accounting, like where these funds gonna go, how we gonna allocate funds. I would do all of that before I even buy an LLC and try to launch this business and get logos and all of that, because it's gonna save you so much on the back end, and you're gonna be structured from day one. So you boosting your chances of success, and then you eliminating a lot of stuff you're gonna experience anyway in the first 2-3 years.
That makes sense.
So where can they find you on social media, bro?
Man, so on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Finishing Touch Interior Carpentry. Google, you can check me out on the website. It's Finishing Touch _ IC on Instagram. And yeah, man, you see all the content, all the portfolio, all the work, and yeah, man, we still doing work, still doing jobs out here, still rolling.
We just steal.
Oh man.
But nah, man, that's my story. That's a little bit about my background, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Look out for more of the guys that introduce themselves coming soon.
Hey, y'all be blessed out there.
Like, comment, subscribe. What's up, Mastermind?
It's bullshit.
Timer, start. Something 7.